Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get out yesterday to do any crafting because we had a very wicked thunder and lightning storm, and that storm brought buckets of rain, brought in a little bit of hail. The rain was blowing sideways, swirling in circles. It was absolutely crazy. So because my craft studio is in my backyard, I was not able to come out to get in any crafting. It's still raining today, but not as bad as it was yesterday. It's manageable, so I did decide I would just trek out and get a little bit of crafting done today. The project that we'll be working on today is taking a plain old composition book and making it into something really pretty, really beautiful, and yet still very functional. So the composition book that we'll be working with today is just a general composition book that you can find at any store that sells school supplies. This is a college rule notebook with a spiral binding, and we are going to be removing this binding and then returning it once we've gotten everything covered. And the beauty of doing this project is ordinarily when you see me make a notebook, you'll see me use my We Are Memory Keepers cinch bookbinding machine. Well, I'm not going to use that today, and I'm going to show you how to remove the spine, how to cover the book, and then replace the spine. And that way, even if you don't have a bookbinding machine, you're still able to take those plain old ugly composition books and turn them into something beautiful, customize them for your kids' favorite team, favorite cartoon. Just make them stand out in school. So let's get started on making this project. So what you'll need is a composition book. You're going to need some wire snips. You'll need tape, and you'll need glue, and then any type of decorations that you may want to use on your book. So the first thing that we'll need to do is we need to remove the wire. And what I'm going to do is place my snips right in here. Let me get them in. Working them in, and I'm just going to snip until that comes undone. And then we'll come down on the end here and snip and remove this end. Okay, so then once you've got the ends clipped, all you need to do to remove your wire is just start rolling it, and you can see that it's coming out from the bottom. And just keep rolling it until the wire is completely removed. Okay, so once you've gotten your wire removed, you're going to want to save it because we will need to use this to reconstruct the book. So the only part that I'm going to cover is the front. I'm going to leave the back as it is because it's a nice, just a craft looking back. And I really just want to make the front pretty on this one. You can go ahead and do the front and the back if you like, but in this case, and for demonstration purposes, I'll only be doing the front. So what I'll be doing is I need to take this piece and cover it completely in tape. And I'm using my 1-inch tape, my double-sided tape from scrapbookpal.com, and I will provide links to everything that I'm using, as well as instructions on how to do this project in the description box. So I'm going to go ahead and get this completely covered, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now that I have it completely covered in tape, and I even placed tape over the whole area, I am going to place it down on my decorative piece of paper, and then I will go back and cut it out. So I'm just going to take this and just place it down. And then I'll come back with my finger X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to go along and cut it out. I'm not doing any fold over or mitered corners or anything. So then I'll be left with this beautiful cover on the outside. I'm just going to take my finger, run it along, and just smooth that down to make sure everything is nice and stuck. So now what I'll need to do is, because I will need to be able to see where my holes are after I've placed the inside liner, I need to come back with my Crocodile, or you can use any hole punch that has a 3/16 punch on it. And I am going to come back and go through each one of these holes and punch out. And this is the most time-consuming part of the whole project because you have to do this step twice. Okay, so I'm going to go through and punch out all of these holes, and then I will be back. Okay, so I have punched out all of the holes, and I decided to go ahead and put the tape on the back side so you guys wouldn't have to watch me do that. So I am going to remove the tape so that I can place down the inside decorative piece. You just pull this up. And again, I place tape over the entire booklet. And then I'm also going to come back and just place some tape here so that I can make sure my ends are completely covered and won't come up. And then I'll place some from here to here. And this is just ensuring where I have the spaces where I didn't cover, I've got coverage at the edges on those pieces as well. So I'll move everything out of the way, bring in my decorative piece, which is this really beautiful beige with gold foiling, and it comes from one of the Recollection paper packs. And I'll link that as well. Or I'll give you the name of that paper pad. So now I'm going to repeat the same step that I did on the front of the book. I'm going to trace around and cut out the cover. And if you don't want to cover the inside of your booklet, you don't have to. I just decided I would do it on this one because I did it on the other one, but I'm not doing the back side. Okay, so there's my inside cover, and I'm going to come back and just go along the edges to make sure everything is nice and smooth, and then I'll make sure that my tape is nice and stuck. So now what I need to do is the same thing I did on the other side, which is come back and punch my holes for the spiral wire on all of these. So I'm going to do this hole punching off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so all of my holes are completely punched out. The inside cover is beautiful. And now we get to put this together. So I'm just going to bring back in the other papers along with the back cover. I'll place the front cover on my book, and then I am going to take my wire that I initially removed, I'll feed it through the back, and then if you just start rolling it in your hand, it'll naturally go back through all of the holes that were originally there. keeping it straight. Just roll it through. So this is a very easy way to cover a notebook if you don't have a bookbinding system, but you want the beauty of personalized notebooks. Makes a great gift. Okay, so once we've gotten it fed all the way through on the top and the bottom, then we need to come back with our wire snips or needle nose pliers. And we're going to take this bottom part, which is this part right here, that pointy part, and then we're just going to curl it so that it won't go anywhere. And we'll do that on both ends. We're just going to take that end piece, grab it, and then curl it inward. And that way your book will stay closed, it'll stay together, and everything will be good. So now what I want to do is I am going to take some ribbon, like I did on this one. I placed the ribbon on the edge on this one. I think I'm going to place the ribbon in a different spot. I'm going to use some of the same flowers that you've seen me using on the other projects that I've made this week. And then I am going to finish this book off. Okay, so because the lace is going to be laying here on the book and it'll cover up any glue that I'm putting down, I'm not going to worry about the lace seeping through as I am putting little dots on the flowers. The glue that seeps through will actually help to hold the lace in place, so I'm not even going to be bothered by that seepage coming through. Not sure what's going on with my glue holders today, but they're not cooperating, so I'm just going to use this. Going to get a little bit messy, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take this and flip it over, making sure that I've got it nice and straight and in position where I want it. Clean up that little bit of glue because that would show. And then I'm just going to pat down the glue that's underneath. And I want to get just a little bit of glue here on the ends because I want to make sure that stays down. So I'll come back and pat that as well. Then I'm going to rotate the book and do the same thing up here. So we've got that, and while that glue is drying, I'm going to go ahead and place down my twine, and I am going to put the twine in the center of the book instead of closer to the edge. Just going to do something a little bit different in placement. Hold that down for just a second. And now I can come back with my decorative flowers. I need to use hot glue instead of wet glue. Place some glue. And then I'm just going to cover up the knot on that twine. And then I'll come back with my third flower. Place some glue on it. And then I'm going to come back and just snip off a little bit of that twine. And now I can come back and open the book and snip off the excess lace. There. And then the final little touch that I want to put on here, I've got them on this one. It's these really cute Victorian style corner protectors. And they start off looking like this. And then I use this folk art acrylic paint, and the color of it is Dolphin, to sponge paint it to just make it look a little bit closer to the paper that I'm using. And I think that it really does look great. So what I'll be using to place these down is some E6000. So basically what I'm going to do is just use my popsicle stick and just get enough on here so that it'll grab. I'm not going to put a lot on the way that I do when I'm applying feet to one of my boxes. I'm just putting enough E6000 so that I'm getting it in certain spots that'll need to touch down on the paper and grab hold of it. So now I'm going to take this and place it as close to the corner as I can. And I think that is just so pretty. It's hard for you guys to see it, but it just adds such a pretty touch to this little booklet. And now I'll do the other one. So I'm just going to take my E6000, place some in the center, and just kind of work my way out. Making sure that I get it on the tips so that my tips will stay down. And now I can place this one as well. And just to make sure that they stay stuck on those edges, I am going to add my clips for just a moment to help hold those down. I'll clean up my mess, give that a second to just kind of set. Okay, so it's dry enough. And one thing that I noticed is that on this one, I did add some pearls along the outer side of the flowers. And I think I want to do the same thing on this one. So I'm going to do that really quick. And I'm going to place a dot of glue here and put down a pearl. And then I'll come back on the opposite end. Place a small dot of glue and then lay down a pearl. And then I'm going to do that here. And then I'll add one more up here. And there, I think that that really turned out well. So now I've got these really cute and fun little books taken from just regular old composition books and turned into something more personal and definitely more beautiful. So these would make great gifts for your coworkers, your sisters, your friends, your family, your mom. Just make wonderful gifts. You can take whatever paper you want and then just cover the composition book. So this is probably one of the easiest projects that you'll see me do, but the reason why I wanted to do it this way was because some of the equipment that I use when I'm crafting, not everyone has it, but they want something that looks like what I have created. And this gives you a way to get covered books like the ones that you'll see me do. So I hope that you guys have liked this project. If you have, please hit the like button And if you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online family. You guys have a great day. We'll chat later. Bye.